Hi traders, Mr. Golden is on the line. Well, the 7th day of the marathon has officially begun. Let me remind you, we started with $1,000 and our goal is to reach $10,000 within 10 days. We are currently on our 7th day and we are already potentially close to our goal. Let's start over. The risk of the transaction in this session. Since we are only $2,300 short of our goal, I propose to execute 2 trades of $1,300 each. We can afford it. Due to the fact that we started with $1,000, we already have a deposit buffer. That is, we have the opportunity to ask even in the case of a negative result, and it will not change anything fundamental for us. Therefore, I plan to reach the final target by 2 positions today, and in this way, this will be another indicator that although I invested 10 days for this marathon, we were able to do it with you in 7. I hope we will succeed. Let's set up a schedule. Remember, I use the Pocket Option platform for trading directly and for analysis on this trading system. What do we need? To begin with, we need to select the desired time frame for analysis in the Timeframes tab. Remember, I analyze the charts on a 15-minute time frame. Let's open it. Here it is already in front of you. Next, we need to activate the indicator, at the expense of which we make decisions. You can find this indicator here. It is called RSI. Let's activate it. That's it. The indicator is activated. A small reminder here. Let me remind you how we trade using this indicator. So we are looking for a price at the level of overbought or oversold, which will signal to us in the future that the market trend is ready to change in the short or long term. When we see such an interaction, we look for a position, as in this case, to the downside. We see that the price approached the overbought level. Accordingly, this was a sign for us that we can open short positions. Expiration time, let me remind you, is 4 and up to 6 minutes. That is, this is the optimal time that is suitable for this trading strategy. Well, let's get started. And in a moment, I will describe all my thoughts as the case progresses. If you take AUD CAD, the first literally currency pair that comes to my list, what do we see in it? We can see a protracted short movement on it now. The price is suitable for the level. Oversold, but not yet reached. You have to wait for contact, and then you can take a counter position against this shorting movement 4 minutes up. However, this hasn't happened yet, so let's just save it for quick access, and we will return to it a little later, in a few minutes. Let's look at the rest of the assets. So what is happening here today on the market? Now we have a New York session, Friday. Already such a day, let's say, decreases in volatility. However, we still have news ahead in 10 minutes, which may in turn also affect the market. We will watch and analyze all this in real time. Let's watch. Here is a great example, by the way, of how the price interacted with the level of overbought. That is, it entered above the 70 zone. After that, it received a short movement, and now it is in contact with this area again. That is, if you open an older time frame to understand, if it exists, it will come out in the level. Are there any potential down targets at all? Well, currently on the 1-hour time frame, we have only this hourly value imbalance, which is not a significant indicator for me to open a position in this situation. Plus on M15, we have strong order flow, powerful long delivery. That is, in our market, only buyers interact now. Sellers are not important to the overall picture. So I will leave this situation here, look at some other assets. The OTC pairs on weekdays do not interest me at all because they are less technical. Although I want to emphasize that this strategy, which I demonstrate here, works absolutely in all markets. This means any binary options, forex pairs, cryptocurrency, and so on. Absolutely everywhere. Where there are charts, you can undergo this type of analysis. A chart. Cool. We continue to search for a position. Yes, something tells me that we will definitely go back to the original AUD CAD and implement it. Let's dive some more and run through all the assets. Well, the situation here is also interesting, but there is also a rather rapid long order flow. The 1-hour candle had a bullish manifestation, that is, sellers tried to sell, but the buyers tried to quickly bought back everything. Accordingly, this signals to us the weakness of the asset at the moment to continue the short movement. That is, we have a long-term trend. Let's go back to odd CAD. The time frame is 15 minutes. Yes, redemption has already started. South, as you can see, there was no contact in the 15 minutes, but it is in 5 minutes if we implement it for the 4 minutes. This looks pretty good. However, I would like to interact with this low before opening. Let's wait a little longer and not rush. We are in no hurry, in principle. Just a little lower, and then I would be in. Yes, if you take into account the time factor. We now have 6 minutes left before opening a new M15 candles, which is high probably, or on the news will give strong short movement, or simply will rise higher to the rebalance of the nearest reference areas of the short value. If you open a 1 minute time frame, we have a test. Not a bad situation. Let's enter. I will explain why I made a decision so quickly. Because look, first of all, we have a local short structure that moves at such moments. But here we actually had the first manifestation of counter-interest. That is, after this rise, we had to continue going down and renew this tallow. However, we showed interest in this area on long-term inefficiency, which already emphasizes to us at least a short-term reversal of the trend. That is, a short-term long movement can take place on this asset. Let us mark this inefficiency from which we were repulsed. It was achieved with this candle, and immediately the candle closed with a green value. That is bullish. This highlights to us that buyers still prevail. The expiration time is 4 minutes. Let's see how this position ends, and let's discuss it. By the way, you can find all the signals I show in detail here on our Telegram channel. The link is in the description below this video. Go there and see for yourself. There are 30 seconds left until the end of practice. Right now the position is working great and the logic I described earlier is working perfectly. Let's quickly go back to M15 minutes so you understand. Yes, we had no contact with the oversold zone. However, here we already perfectly understood the logic of market behavior at this moment. That is, when we switched to 5-minute time frames, we understood that we were already interacting here. Accordingly, we have every reason to implement this position, which, I repeat, closes in profit. I laid it all out more clearly and step by step in my guide, which you can find at the link below in the Telegram channel. That is, there are already step-by-step instructions, what to pay attention to, how to analyze. You can find it there if you don't have enough information in this video. However, I believe that everything is explained quite easily here as well. So, the first profitable position, we already have $1,100 left in our balance before our target. That is, with a risk of $1,300, we will reach it with the next position, if, of course, it will be profitable. Yes, in a minute, we will have some rather important news. Let's open the EUR. USD. Let's open the EUR. USD. In order to monitor the reaction, and whether there will be a reaction to the news at all. The economic background is quite important when trading. That is, you should also constantly look at the news calendar and take them into account. After all, they can directly affect trade. I will explain why. Because usually the market moves algorithmically. That is, it has a certain algorithm of actions, and it works according to it. However, when there is news in the market, it is called manual intervention. So the market reacts to the indicators brought by this news, and accordingly, it is virtually impossible to predict. It can be predicted, but definitely not predicted at the moment. You should also consider this in your own trading. About all this, how to read the economic background, how to understand the news, which news means what, and what impact it will have on the market, I also tell in my open channel. Okay, let's find a second position. We see that the market actually does not react to these news that happened in our country just a minute ago. What is it connected with? This is due to Trump's kickback rate. That is, now the market does not react to the news the way it did before. And I also talk about this more than once. Okay, let's look for the next position. We open a 15-minute time frame. Everything according to the standard scenario. We are looking for contact with a level of oversold or overbought and implement the position. Let's go. Let's start over. Yep. As we can see, after our long move, where we took our profitable deal, our price continues to fall. That is why it is no longer interesting or relevant to us. Let's look further. Your key F. Well, this is an interesting picture. Interacts with the level of overbought. There is the first manifestation of short volumes, a 5-minute one. Let's enter. I will explain why. First, on the 15-minute time frame, the asset signals to us that it is overbought. That is, now it is too expensive to buy. Accordingly, we can already push back and look for short positions. If we include a 5-minute time frame, I can see that the last contextual long impulse that we had here failed to update the last high. This tells us about the weakness of the asset at the moment. This means we also have the first plots that we have. And here we had the last potential manifestation of long-term interest. That is, the last time buyers tried to push the price here and break through this level, but they did not succeed. The price candle closed red, that is, in the short direction. Accordingly, analyzing this whole picture, we are already working with you in the short direction, where the nearest target will be this low and the accumulation of these lows here. Let's open a 1-minute time frame and see how this position will perform. The only thing is that I probably rushed a bit with the implementation. However, the price itself will tell us this after the completion of our position. There is potential to rise a bit higher in order to rebalance this short movement and continue it from here. However, given the nature and rapidity, aggressiveness of this movement, I think that we will not go up here, and from this relevant place we will continue our short movement in which we opened a position. Let's open it. And let's talk at the end. If you want to see examples of such trades in real time, subscribe to our Telegram channel. I share signals and trading results there regularly. 1 minute and 20 seconds remain. Here, in principle, this bullish manifestation, which I spoke about earlier, takes place that we still have unbalanced zones here. Accordingly, most likely, we simply will not have enough time to implement this short movement. Therefore, in the next position, I will use the martingale method that I use. I won't say that on a permanent basis, but sometimes I come to it when my balance allows it, let's say. It's pretty safe if you know how to do it right. Okay. Let's open a 15-minute time frame. This agreement is clearly not going to work. Let's keep looking for the next one. If you look at odd, JPI, the situation here is now uncertain. The asset is moving to the oversold level, but it is still too early to talk about any actions on it. CHFJPY is also an interesting situation. I think you already understand that. That is, the asset falls quite rapidly to the oversold level. A counter interest may appear. Let's put it aside. Here it is for quick access. Your CHF. What we discovered just keeps growing. This also happens. Accordingly, further trades on this asset will not be relevant for us at the moment. We abandon this pair and look for completely different solutions. Okay. We have nothing interesting here. Also, quite an interesting asset. I will save it for quick access. Now we will run through all of them, and then we will return. We will already make decisions based on what we chose the day before. I will not consider positions below 75% of profit. Also, don't forget about the divergence pattern, which we also use during this challenge. Perhaps some situations will be created through it. This will have to be watched. Also an interesting point. And if you open the 1-hour time frame, we have a messy schedule here. A very messy schedule, which is not syncing at the moment. For now, I will look for something more clear. And it is more clear here. Give a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new uploads. Click the bell to get notified about new content. Okay, let's get back to the assets I've marked for myself here, and we will push away from them. Here it is quite interesting for 4 minutes in long. Now I will explain why. It's smeared a little. Well, nothing. Firstly, The interaction was logical, that is, the maximum approach to the oversold level. Secondly, we have a target for holes. Prices are 15 million inefficiency. It has been seen here. However, I'm clearly late with the entry point. Nothing can be done about it. The decision is made. I tried to enter right here, but the price suddenly gave momentum. This could not be predicted at the moment either, so the price has reached our target. However, I hope that the position will continue to be relevant long. After 5 minutes, we see contact with the oversold level and the presence of strong bullish objects, that is, growing volumes for the long-term movement of the asset. Okay, let's open up for a 1 minute. What do we have here? Well, we went in just on impulse. Well, that's it. Okay. There is still potential to grow higher. So let's wait. And I want to open in parallel while this deal lasts. Go to GBP, USD, which also gave us a signal. By the way, probably more promising than GBP CAD, but since assets are more or less correlated, perhaps both will continue the long movement. That is, GBP, USD to this area, after contact with the oversold level. This looks very interesting. Let's open it here just in case, and there we will see how it will be. That is, there is no fear if we earn a little more, and if we lose, that too. Now everything is happening within reasonable limits. My key task in this challenge is to show you simply how it works and how I look for it. That is, in this case, the same contact with the level of oversold. There is a potential price target. This is where we have it. And it would be interesting to watch how the price will get here. By the way, I forgot to open at the moment. Double rate. So let's hurry while we're still at the current entry point. Let's fix this situation. Well, let's see how this position will work. And then we will take it apart. We have already tested this strategy in the VIP channel. If you want to follow our work, the link to Telegram is in the description. Yes, let's go back to our first position. We see what really smeared us at the moment of entry. The situation is pretty bad at the moment. Well, it's okay. This also happens. What do we have here? Here we still have the potential to get a long reaction from this area and continue in principle the long movement. Let's wait for it to finish and then we'll analyze it. What will be our situation now? According to the challenge. That is why this challenge, it also challenges us. It doesn't happen that everything goes clearly, smoothly, and as planned, because it is not a real trade. In real trading, you will constantly face some difficulties. So whether it is a losing trade, whether it is a trade that closed -1 point, so on and so on. That is, being wrong is normal. The main thing is to have a percentage of how many times you were wrong and how many times we are right. And it is desirable to be right in at least 75% of cases. Let's wait for it to finish. Then we will talk. For those who want more practical examples, you will find results, signals, and useful materials in our Telegram channel. Check it out. The link is below the video. I actually like this picture and am ready to activate another position here. Let's put it this way. I'm going to the Waban for this position because I really like the formation. And let's definitely open another one. If it doesn't work, even though I'm 100% confident in this position, then we will be left with our starting capital. But if it works, we'll make a pretty good profit. I repeat, it is better not to trade in this way for beginners. You must understand clearly what you are doing. At this moment, I clearly understand what kind of movement has formed, what it was formed from, and where it is going. Therefore, the risk is controlled. Yes, the first position is closed in profit. Let's see what happens next. If you have any questions about this strategy, feel free to write to us on Telegram. We actively communicate there, discussing deals and sharing our experience. A great workout, really like in the movies, just what I've been telling you about all this time. Now the main thing is that we correctly calculated the positions we selected in terms of time. Well, we will see that a little later. Yes, the second position that we opened here is also closed after 3 seconds and also closed in profit, which I congratulate you on. Yes, there are already $6,000 on the balance. If these 2 more positions are closed in profit, we will reach our final target and can rest a little, friends. Let's watch. I publish these signals daily in the Telegram channel. It's all free. Join us. The link is below the video. Well, there's only a 1 minute left until our last 2 deals are worked out. Indeed, this day became a test for our balance, for our trading system. However, if you are already a person with experience and understand what you are doing, then you will never have any worries when trading. And this is the main thing. Let's wait for the final result and summarize what we achieved here and what we learned during these 7 days. Give a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new uploads. Click the bell to get notified about new content. Yes, this position remains for 5 seconds, closes in a clear profit, with which I congratulate you. And the final position of 8 seconds. Let's watch. Let me remind you, our target for this position was a target in the form of M15 inefficiency, which also closes in profit. And our balance is $11,035. Remember, we started with $1,000. Our goal was $10,000 in 10 days. We were able to do this in only 7. So let's summarize what was the point of this video. First, I wanted to show you that even with a small deposit, you can scale pretty quickly if you know what to do. Second, I have given you a trading system that allows you to do this. RSI indicators, time frames, and market logic. I explained everything clearly in each video, how I open positions, what I pay attention to, and where do I think the price will move. If this information is not enough for you, there is an absolutely complete step-by-step guide in my Telegram channel, where you can write even after viewing it to me in private messages, and I will answer all the questions you will be interested in. Golden was on the line, and see you soon. By the way, we also have a Telegram channel where you'll find a lot of valuable information regarding trading. Through this channel, we provide access to our tools, the Golden Bot powered by AI, which delivers 50 to 100 signals per day with an accuracy of approximately 80% plus. A VIP channel where you'll not only receive signals but also detailed analysis of each trade, along with exclusive educational materials. Additionally, we have a premium channel where our core team offers support to help individuals become independent, successful traders. If you prefer not to learn or trade yourself, you can join copy trading and automatically copy our trades. In general, you'll find useful content, and we regularly hold contests and tournaments for our most active subscribers. Subscribe to our Telegram channel, and we wish you good luck and profit.